Well, hello everyone. Mikee Kung Pao here again. Talk about today's trial events. I can't normally do these analysis every single day because I got this 70-hour day job, in rocket science and everything. But this is just too juicy to pass up, I think. Don't you think so? Because we watched this Wilmott getting decimated by this Dr. Janeen. It's kind of an interesting thing to watch, and also at the heart of the case, really, because she's completely destroying this whole PTSD battered women defense nonsense. So we're going to look at a few clips today and see what happened, and try to make this a short one tonight, and come back later after new witness come on. Alright everyone, here we are. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to look at some of the major exchange between Dr. Janeen today and Wilmott. Let's see what the main thing they kind of exchange they're having with each other today, and what it mean. Oh, you talking about my qualifications? You talking about whether I do 4-year or 8-year? Is that what you're talking about? Whether I do my testing right? I'll tell you what I think. I do a lot more testing than RN, I'll tell you that. Way more testing than her. Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of what they talk about today. But let's look at a few more clips and see what we find out.
It's a website, but it's not. It's a website, yes. But you also, in addition to Psychology Today website, you also have your own website talking about your practice, right?
Yes.
Okay, and so the website Psychology Today it's an advertisement, isn't it? Talking about what you do.
Yes.
Do you have to pay to post on this?
Hey, I want you to watch something. Watch Jodi.
I haven't paid thus far.
Watch Jodi passing a note to
her. You just didn't? Or?
No.
Okay, you just haven't needed to.
Right, I haven't needed to pay.
All right. And when you post on this Psychology
looking
Today,
at something Jodi passed to him. I'll tell you what that was. What she was passing to him and said, Nermi, can you get me a ceramic knife? Because it won't show up in the, in the detector when I go through. And there's some things I want to do with that. Okay.
You create what you want them to say about you, right?
And Jodi, watch Jodi. She's going to look at Nermi right.
So what we see
that
on
shrug my attorney,
the advertisement in Psychology Today is what you
usually they don't talk to each other.
And you give a summary, basically you give a summary of what you do and what your beliefs are with regard to your practice, right?
Correct.
Jerk. Okay.
And in here you say that you offer a free consultation.
That's part of the website.
Well, look what Jodi doing. She's going to do a subliminal. I got my Jodi tool here. She's going to be thinking to herself in her subconscious, hear what I want to be doing to this Dr. Janeen. Watch here.
That comes with Psychology Today. That's verbiage that they use.
Oh, yeah. So you didn't write that part?
Right, they didn't write that part.
Okay, but you do offer a free consultation, right?
Later on, she uses a death ray.
Interviewing her would be 12 and a half
Watch
hours.
Jodi's death ray.
Between 12 and 12 and a half, yes.
And how many hours do you think
she's looking right at us.
Reviewing the case altogether?
Back at Dr. Janeen.
A lot of time.
Which is what?
I can't give you a specific number, but there was a lot of records, as you know, a lot of videotapes to watch, police interviews. There's a significant amount they ask.
If they ask.
Now, I want you to watch Dr. Janeen for a second and see if she do a lizard tongue.
Right, if they ask about my years of experience. In fact, I did that 2 weeks ago with somebody.
Okay, and you had to clarify it with them, right?
They had a lot of questions about my background, yes, and I provided that information.
Okay.
She didn't do one. I saw her do something close to it a couple of times, but for some reason, it looks nice to me. Instead of when Jodi do it, make me want to reach out and grab that thing and just rip that out. Different effect, with different people. You know how some people really annoy and irritate you? Anyway, let's go up and see what's going on up here.
On there, that would be inappropriate.
Well, no, not their names, of course, but I mean, you're not on your CV. There's nowhere on here that you ever say that you conducted interviews with trauma patients, right?
That's correct, because if I did that, the CV would be 50 pages long, because then I'd have to list out every patient and type of evaluation and interview that I've done. It just seems unnecessary. I'd rather...
In other words, you dim-witted poopy-head Wilmott, I'm not going to put everything I ever did in my CV, because it'd be like 8,000 pages, okay? So quit trying to trip me up, you dimwit.
On my time with my patients.
Well, you list only 3 specialties, right?
That was just for they had a random list of things to choose from, and those were the areas that I had a lot of...
Now watch how she gets
Go back to the research that we talked about yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Patients.
Well, you list only 3 specialties, right?
Okay,
Nowhere on
listen
your
to
CV
this.
does it ever talk about you doing any specific research with trauma victims.
Oh, sure it does. There's several of them on there.
Which ones?
Yeah, you nailed it again,
You go
Wilmott.
back to the research that we talked about yesterday.
Okay, Wilmott, you dumb poopy head, nailed it again. You wrong again.
The mother
800.
and infant study.
The one where...
Okay, she lists a bunch of studies and research that she's done. Once again, Wilmott totally wrong. I don't know why she keep embarrassing herself, asking me questions. What's next?
Do you want to reference my teaching experience?
Sure. Well, I mean, do you have anywhere where you specifically list that you taught specifically about trauma?
Did I use the word trauma in my CV? No. Did I teach about trauma? Yes.
Okay, but then you didn't specifically list it out, right?
Right. In addition to every other area that I've lectured about, I did not list it out.
So there's additional teaching that you've done that you didn't list in your CV. Is that what you're saying?
You know, for example, if you're talking about trauma, I also didn't list schizophrenia in there. I also didn't list about bipolar disorder in there because it would make my CV extremely long. And the point is that I taught several courses at an undergraduate level on abnormal psychology, and that's
Which, by the way, Wilmott, you're too stupid to do, and Ravoyerette too, for that matter. Okay, so anyway, she just embarrassed herself with every question. What else we got here? I wanted to show you Jodi today. She don't want to be in this trial anymore. What she wants to be doing is artwork. She's thinking maybe she move on to that.
And how...
So all day, the big erasing and the writing and the big erasing and writing in her coloring book, I think, coloring book.
Tests, right? And interviewing
And she's saying,
lack
stop
of
bothering with the
compassion.
trial.
Can you clarify
know?
what you mean by that?
I'm supposed
that
to
you
be...
don't have a lot of compassion when you're doing these interviews, right?
What I said is that I don't walk in having compassion for the person
I
immediately.
don't go in with a bias. You know the difference, Wilmott? Okay, what else we
Yes, it
got?
has Pearson on it. Do you need to look at it?
No, I'm aware of that.
Okay. And so Pearson would be the people who have the copyright on this test, right?
I'm not familiar with the laws pertaining to that.
This is the stupid kind of question she asks over and over, desperately trying to trip her up. Who did the copyright on this article? And what year was it published? What day, by the way? And do you know what kind of ink were used? This is how desperate the defense have become. It's really silly. I mean, it's kind of sad and pathetic. No wonder Jodi got a migraine, couldn't handle it anymore. Anyway, let's go on, see what else we see here. Part 1. Thank you, Coker Queen. Always putting...
Sure, without comparing it directly, I couldn't say if it was 100% item for item, identical.
Watch Jodi.
Is that what the question is?
I think she's going to do... Lizard tongue! Yeah, we saw it. Lizard tongue. Should we see that again? Okay, I know I'm boring you. I keep doing that over and over. Just something about it, you know. No, we're not going to bore you and show you again.
Yes.
Actually, we
Not
are.
coming specifically from Pearson.
I keep trying to catch it on the pause. I can never catch
And
it when I
so-
pause. Not fast enough.
These particular questions
To have
then
better
are the
reflexes.
questions that are contained on the PDF test,
Well, this
right?
was a funny one, too.
That's what you're telling me.
Do you want to look at it?
Sure, without comparing it directly, I couldn't say if it was 100% item for item, identical.
Okay, help me out.
Is that what the question
Everybody
is?
think it won. Catch the lizard tongue. Oh, we got it. We finally got it. We got it frozen for all time. Okay, all right. Now I don't have to do it all the
I saw when it
time.
was up there, yes, it looked very similar.
Okay. All
All right, what else we got on here? The Rain attempt.
And the only way that Mr. Martinez had these test
Everybody-
questions is because he got them from you, right?
I didn't give them to him, no.
Everybody want to know if she say bitch. Let's see if she say it.
Do you want to see the questions or?
Whatever you're referring to.
Don't know if you were able to hear that. It was real low. It sounded like she said bitch, like really, really low. And then Jodi looked up right away, and Nurmi too. Nurmi, as you can see, he's sitting up paying close attention with a nice posture as always. Okay, we move on to part 2. Now, of course, we see Jodi continuing to do her drawing or whatever she do. But what I wondered about here, do you notice the crowd on Jodi's side always having a big party and everything, all laughing and having a good old time? Do you think Travis doing that on his side? Who up there on trial for their life, anyway? You wouldn't think so. All right. Anyway, let's look at another stupid question that Wilmott embarrassed herself on. There's so many of these, you know, I don't even know what one to pick. But we'll try this one.
Using the one that is been revised, the one that had not been revised.
The other one had just been released.
Right, so you were content using the one that
Yes,
was
I
not
thought
revised.
this was adequate.
All right.
Yeah, you mean you didn't use the latest test that just came out last week when you did the evaluation? And Dr. Janeen sitting there to herself, hey, at least I was using some tests instead of just doing whatever came out of my trained brain, like what that stupid Reviolette was doing. Okay, anyway, move on from there.
When you gave the rat in the waist, though, you used the updated versions of those, didn't you?
To show
Yes.
you
Same thing with the MMPI, you used the updated version?
the Jodi
Okay.
expression.
Yes.
What this? It's like the evil Bambi expression, deer caught in headlights, I call this. You know how everyone loved Bambi, and you hear the expression deer caught in headlights. In Jodi case, it more like a deer from hell caught in headlights.
And yesterday you talked to us about whether or not you personally believed Jodi exhibited any behavior of low self-image, and you said no, right?
Right.
But this test result speaks differently, doesn't it?
No.
No. You just stupid, Wilmott. You don't know how to evaluate the test. So let's move on from there. And see what we're going to look at up here.
Summary scale. So that's not what you're referring to.
No, I'm talking about the summary scales of trauma, self, and dysphoria. Do you have those?
No.
Okay, so you didn't do those.
Those aren't part of the scoring.
Okay.
Those aren't part of the scoring, you stupid poopy head. Stop asking questions that you have no idea what you're talking about. That was she's saying, or that's what she wanted to say. She wanted to call her some name. Let's see else what we got here. We'll scroll up a little more.
So then you don't have any significance with regard to the scale, and you don't remember the journal that you got it from.
I didn't get it from a journal again. I got it from a broad database.
Which I told you already, you dumb poopy head. So stop trying to nail me on some stupid journal question, okay?
Right. But ultimately they're published in a journal, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay, and you don't remember the name of the journal that this was, article that you read last week?
Or the date or the copyright.
Because yesterday you relied on work that's been done by Lenore Walker, right?
That's correct.
And that's something that we just talked about today, Lenore Walker.
Correct.
Watch Jodi, she's going to give us the
and
death stare
the
again.
work-
She's giving us the death stare. I don't know if you can see that in this picture.
That you relied on with regard to Lenore Walker, she first published articles when? Do you remember her first book?
I believe it was back in the 70s.
But do you remember the exact date?
Name specifically, as I highlighted earlier, I don't commit that to memory.
Okay. Well, then maybe
Look at
do you
Jodi.
commit to memory
New
that the
expression.
updated research with regard to battered women syndrome actually takes a global view at it now? Are you aware of that?
What do you mean by global view?
Define
that
your
it shows that
terms.
the more likely diagnosis for battered women syndrome is PTSD. Are you aware of that?
I'm very aware that PTSD and battered women's syndrome have been used together.
Watch
Yes.
crows. There's a
Okay.
lizard tongue coming up.
and-
Lizard tongue. There it is. Okay.
Are you aware then that with
But that's
the
not what I'm here
updated
for.
research,
There's something else important
even
here.
Lenore Walker isn't using those 6 criteria anymore? Are you-
Okay. Do you hear what she say? Even Lenore Walker, the expert, not using those 6 criteria anymore. But we hear on Nancy Grace today, she is, because Lenore Walker herself came on the dang show and said she is using them. So Wilmott just wrong on everything. What an embarrassment she is. Okay, listen to the answer.
You aware of that?
Those 6 criteria include include PTSD.
Are you aware that Lenore Walker does not even use those 6 criteria anymore?
That seems inaccurate.
So you're not
Based on the
aware of that?
criteria. That doesn't sound accurate.
And she was right, because if you go check for yourself, you're going to find out she's right, as Lenore Walker herself today came on a show and said so. Okay, so that's how bad Wilmott is doing. She's just doing horrible. Let's see what's in parts. Okay, what happened in the final session? Watch the phony cough coming. Here come a phony cough. Wasn't that a good acting job, don't you think? Because I think Jodi gets
Please
sick.
be seated. The record will show the presence
Yeah.
of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Ladies and gentlemen, an issue has arisen that will prevent us from going forward today, so I'm going to be dismissing you for the rest of the afternoon. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 9:30. I also want to make you
Look at
aware
Jodi, reading.
that April 26th
Leaning
is
more
a
and more
Friday.
this way.
We discussed having court that day. Unfortunately, we will not be able to proceed.
Issue that came up was, hey, I'm too sick to proceed. I see how we're getting destroyed on the defense case. Hey, watch the judge. She's actually going to have a big smile at the end of this. Because she's saying to herself, I can take so much of this. Now I'm going to get an afternoon off finally. And they're laughing about Jodi's acting job.
Record will show the jury has left the courtroom. Dr. DeMarte will see you tomorrow morning at 9:30. Thank you. We are at recess.
And thank you, Dr. DeMarte, for finally being a good witness, instead of those fakers, frauds that come in here and spew nonsense. Now watch the judge and I think Juan Martina. They both have a big grin on their face in a minute. And let's see, where is that? Coming up here. Oh, she got the big grin. Did we see one? I think we met him. Or he come back or something. Yeah, we missed him. Anyway, they both had a big... Oh, there he is. Okay. So, they're having a good chuckle about Jodi Arias' acting routine and everything. And, of course, they have a lot to smile about because the defense is destroying themselves. Okay, desperate defense. All right, that's all we're going to see on the Crips for today. All right, so we back. So what did we learn today exactly before Miss Drama Queen managed another suspension of court activity, as she had done before when she don't like how things are going? And she's saying to herself, ooh, this looked bad for me. Lifetime in jail, or maybe the needle in my arm. Anyway, before we had all that happen, we see Wilmott get pretty much decimated by the witness. She trying to be a Juan Martinez, but it not coming off well, you know. She asking questions like, do you know the author and the date of publishing and who the copyright editor is for that article, that one of 5,000 article that might have been published in a psychiatric journal like 12 years ago? Okay, stupid question, trying to trip her up, you know. And the lady don't get flustered. She just go, Dr. Janeen just say, no, don't know that one. Okay, let's move her on. But I do happen to know about 8 million times more than Ravairet or you do, okay? That's what she's thinking to herself, and that's how she's portraying herself, and I think it came off well. What did Wilmott say? Oh, Wilmott got caught in a really stupid... Actually, she got caught in probably about 80 stupid ones. But let me just give you just one example of how badly and how desperate she is. She asked, I think we saw it in the video clip, but she asked Dr. Janeen, hey, didn't Renor Walker, the 6 criteria you say she used for abuse and battered women, isn't it true she don't even use those anymore? And of course Dr. Janeen say, no, you're incorrect. And she said, are you sure about that? You know, they don't use that. You're incorrect. Well, as it turned out, that very Renor Walker came on the TV today on the Nancy Grace show and say she do use those criteria. So once again, Wilmott had no idea what she talking about, trying to trip up a witness without knowing her facts. Okay, she don't play a good Juan Martinez. She need to stick to her own gig, and it not working what she doing, as we can see. All right, so what else? Oh, I just wanted to say, to that guy who don't like my accent, who keeps stalking me worse than Jodi stalked Travis, okay, he keeps showing up new name on my video all the time and complaining, I don't like your accent, stop doing that accent. Okay, hear what I say to him, okay? What you can do is not watch my video, but even better yet, here an idea for you, Mr. Poopyhead, okay, with no sense of humor. Okay, I want you to go make a series of videos on the Jodi Arias trial, like I have done. You make a series of videos, okay, and then tell us when you have them done, okay, and when you have some really good stuff for us to watch, and then what I want you to do is come back and report back to us. We'll be waiting for that, and this is what we'll be hearing while we're waiting for your series of videos. And for all you other people that like my videos, thank you very much for your comment and your support and everything. I do this so I can keep my sanity while I watch this trial, you know? So I don't go crazy, think she's gonna get off. Don't go no sociopath, everybody. Okay, bye-bye till next time.